AI's future impact on humanity, let me tell you something. Something that may sound simple, but it's not. It's something we all know is coming, yet very few are prepared for. What I'm talking about is not a person. It's not a government. It's not a war. It's not even money. The thing that is changing our world faster than anything else, something we created with our own minds. It's artificial intelligence. Now, listen carefully. This is not just about machines. This is not just about robots walking around, answering your questions, or driving your cars. That's only the beginning. The real change is deeper. The real shift is invisible. It's in how we think, how we live, how we work, how we dream. AI is no longer science fiction. It is science reality. And it is already shaping the world around you. People ask me all the time, will AI take our jobs? But this is the wrong question. The right question is, are we using AI or is AI using us? That's the real issue. Because the people who learn how to use AI will become 10 times more productive. They will have 10 times more power. But those who ignore it or fear it or wait too long, they will be left behind. Not because they're not smart, but because they didn't adapt. When I started in business, there were no smartphones, no cloud computing, no big data. The biggest tool we had was our brain and our heart. Today, your phone is smarter than the best office in the 1990s. And tomorrow, AI will be smarter than the smartest team of humans. But there's a catch. It still won't have a soul. It still won't have imagination. And that is where the opportunity lies. If you are young, if you are curious, if you are willing to learn, AI is not your enemy. It is your biggest opportunity. You can build things faster. You can solve problems quicker. You can understand markets, people, and trends in ways no human could do alone, but only if you know how to use it. I remember when people were afraid of the internet. They said it would destroy businesses. It did destroy some, but it created many more. The same will happen with AI. It will destroy the boring jobs, the repetitive jobs, the jobs where you don't need to think. But it will create new jobs, new roles, and new industries that none of us can imagine today. Let me be honest with you. We are not ready. Our schools are not ready. Our companies are not ready. Even our governments are not ready. We are still teaching kids to compete with machines, to memorize, to follow orders, to get the right answer. But machines are already better at that. We must teach our kids to be more human, to be creative, to be flexible, to be ethical, to ask new questions, not just give the right answer. AI is like electricity. You can use it to light up a city or to destroy it. It depends on the hands that hold the switch. And right now, that switch is being passed around the world. Some are using it for health, some for business, some for power. But the biggest risk is not AI itself. The biggest risk is what we choose to do with it. I do not believe AI will destroy humanity. But I do believe humanity destroys itself if we lose control of our values, our morals, and our purpose. If we only focus on profit and not on people. If we only chase efficiency and forget about empathy, that is the danger. In the past, machines replaced muscle. Now, they are replacing the mind. But there is one thing they can never replace: the human spirit. The ability to care, to dream, to take risks, to forgive. That's just what makes us human. So don't be afraid of AI. Be afraid of being lazy. Be afraid of not learning. Be afraid of getting too comfortable. Because the world is not waiting. It is moving fast. And if you don't move with it, you'll be left behind. Not by AI, but by the people who learned how to use it. Remember this. AI is a tool, a very powerful one. But tools don't define the builder. The builder defines the tool. And each of you, whether you are a student, a worker, a teacher, or a leader, you are a builder of the future. Don't let the machine decide your fate. Use it. Learn from it. Master it. And above all, stay human. Because that is something no machine can ever do better than you. One AI will not replace you. A human using AI will let me share something with you. Something I've told young people all around the world. You are not in a race against artificial intelligence. You are in a race against yourself. And the real danger is not that AI will take your job. The real danger is that someone who understands AI better than you, who knows how to use it, will do your job better. That's the truth. Let me repeat it in a different way. AI is not your competitor. The human who learns how to use AI, that's your real competition. Think about it. We're not talking about machines replacing people. We're talking about people partnering with machines to do things faster, smarter, and more efficiently than ever before. A doctor with AI will diagnose better than a doctor without it. A teacher with AI will teach more personally than one without it. A designer, a writer, an engineer, a marketer, anyone who learns to work with AI will be stronger than the one who ignores it. And this shift is already happening. It's not in the future. It's now. Look at the workplace today. People are using ChatGPT, Midjourney, and hundreds of tools to automate what used to take hours, even days. Reports that used to take a week, now done in 10 minutes. Marketing campaigns that needed a team of 10, now launched by one person with the right prompt. Resumes, blogs, social media content, coding, data analysis, the AI is transforming all of it. But here's the key. The AI isn't doing this alone. It's the people who are using it that are making the difference. Let me give you an example. Imagine two young professionals in the same company. One of them spends hours preparing presentations, doing manual research, struggling with Excel sheets. The other learns how to use AI to automate research, summarize reports, and visualize data. Guess who gets promoted? Not because they work smarter. So the question I ask you is, which one are you becoming? You see, when the internet came, many people feared it would kill businesses. And it did. It killed the business that refused to change, the ones who didn't want to move online. But it also created giants, platforms, tools, new companies that didn't exist before. The same thing is happening now with AI. It will destroy the old way of doing things. It will create incredible new opportunities for those who are ready to evolve. But let's go deeper. Why is this happening? Because AI is not just a piece of technology. It is an intelligence amplifier. It magnifies what you already know. If you are creative, AI makes you more creative. If you are lazy, AI makes you more useless. That's the truth. AI doesn't create genius. It gives power to those who are willing to keep learning. And this is where I want you to be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, am I learning to use AI? Or am I pretending it won't affect me? Because every profession will be touched by it. Every industry will change. Every routine will be challenged. But that's not a bad thing. That's how progress works. In the past, the printing press replaced scribes. The engine replaced horses. Computers replaced typewriters. And now AI is replacing repetitive thinking. But every time this happened, the world didn't collapse. It evolved. But here's the catch. Only the curious evolve. Only the learners survive. The ones who said this will pass, or this is not my problem, they were left behind. You know, people used to say, knowledge is power. And that's still true. But today, applied knowledge is power. Knowing AI exists is not. Watching videos about AI is not enough. You must use it. You must experiment. You must integrate it into your work. You must become the kind of person who understands how to ask the right questions and let AI help you find better answers. Let me share a truth I've learned from experience. When technology moves forward, it doesn't ask for your permission. It doesn't wait for your schedule. It doesn't slow down for your fear. It keeps moving. And the people who move with it, those are the ones who rise. You don't need to be a programmer to use AI. You don't need a PhD. You just need willingness, curiosity. And a mindset that says, I will not be replaced by a machine. I will become better with it. That mindset is what makes the difference. Now let's talk about the people who will struggle the most. It's not the poor. It's not the uneducated. It's the proud. The ones who say, well, I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't need AI. That is a dangerous mindset. Because it's not about how long you've done something. It's about how fast you can adapt. The world doesn't care about how long you've worked. It cares about how relevant your skills are today. And that's what you need to think about. I'm telling you this not to scare you, but to wake you up. The world has changed. The rules are different now. The tools are more powerful, and you have access to them. But if you don't pick them up, someone else will. So ask yourself every morning, how can I use AI to do what I do better? And every night, what did I learn today that makes me stronger tomorrow? If you do this, AI will not replace you. It will empower you. But if you sit back, waiting, doubting, or ignoring what's coming, then yes, one day you'll wake up and realize the job you loved is gone, not because of the machine, but because someone else learned how to use it better than you. Let me end this point with one truth I want you to remember forever. It's not AI versus you. It's you without it. And in that battle, the future will always choose the one who adapts, learns, and grows. The future doesn't wait. So don't wait to catch up. Start now. True data is the new oil, but humanity is still the engine. Let me explain something to you that I believe is one of the biggest misunderstandings of this new era. People say that data is the new oil, and yes, it's true, data is powerful. It fuels everything: marketing, logistics, healthcare, security, even government decisions. Without data, AI is blind. Without data, machines cannot learn. But here's what I want you to understand deeply. Data is not the engine. Humans are still the engine. Why do I say this? Because a machine can process 1 billion pieces of data in seconds. But it cannot understand the pain behind those numbers. It cannot feel the meaning behind the trend. It cannot hear the silence in someone's voice. It cannot care. It cannot love. It cannot forgive. So yes, data is the oil, it runs the machine. But it is our conscience, our imagination, that determines where the machine should go. Every second, data is being generated. When you scroll your phone, you're giving data. When you search, shop, watch, speak, walk, you're creating data. Smart companies collect it. Smart machines learn from it. But the wise humans ask, what does this data mean? Why should we do with it? That is the question the future depends on. Now let me ask you, what happens when oil is misused? It causes pollution, destruction, even war. The same will happen with data, if we are not careful, if we use it without values. If we let machines decide everything based on numbers and forget the human lives behind those numbers, we will lose something much more important than profit. We will lose our humanity. Let me give you an example. Imagine an AI that sorts job applications. It looks at age, education, gaps in the resume, number of clicks, number of years. The machine says, reject this person. But a human might say, wait, this person took 5 years off to care for their dying mother. That's not weakness, that's strength. No machine can feel that, only a human can. That's what I mean when I say, data is the new oil, but we must remain the engine, fast, but it needs our direction, our ethics, our vision. I worry that too many people today worship data. They think data is everything. They say the numbers don't lie. But data can, if it is collected unfairly, interpreted without wisdom, or used without a human heart. Data is not truth, it is a tool. Truth comes from context, from judgment, from experience, from compassion. Think about this. If you ask AI who is the best person for a job, it will tell you based on history. But what if history was biased? What if for 50 years only one kind of person got that job? Then AI will say only that kind of person fits. You see the problem? I can repeat the past. But only humans can choose to change it. And that's why I always say AI can be smart, but we must be wise. If you are a business leader, don't just use data to cut costs. Use it to improve lives. If you are a teacher, don't just use data to rank students. Use it to understand them. If you are a policymaker, don't just use data to control people. Use it to empower them. Let me give you a story. In one of my early meetings with entrepreneurs, someone asked me, what is your best asset? He said technology. It's not service, it's not money, it's people. The human heart is our greatest engine. Machines can fail, systems can crash, but a person with vision, passion, and empathy, they will rebuild everything. This is the mindset we need in the AI age. Don't let data make you blind. Let it help you see deeper. Don't let algorithms decide what you believe. Let your values guide your judgment. Don't let machines replace connection. Let them enhance understanding. AI will grow stronger. Data will grow bigger. But if we forget the human side, we will become a world of efficiency but no meaning. A world of profit, but no purpose. A world of intelligence, but no wisdom. The future is not about who has the most data. It's about who uses data with the most heart. That's the competitive edge of the future. Not just machine intelligence, but human integrity. So I say to young people, to leaders, to creators, learn the machine, master the tools, use the data. But never forget, it's not the driver in you, you are still the driver, never give up that seat. Free education must shift from memory to imagination. Let me tell you something, I've believed for many, many years. Long before AI became popular, and long before people even understood what the fourth industrial revolution truly meant. The way we educate our children today is broken. And in the age of artificial intelligence, that broken system will not just fail, it will collapse. Because the schools we built were designed for the past. But the world our children are entering into is not the past, it is the future. And the future demands something different. For hundreds of years, education has been about remembering, about memorizing facts, dates, formulas, and rules. We've trained children to become calculators, encyclopedias, and followers of instructions. But let me ask you, what happens when a machine can do all of that faster, cheaper, and without sleep? Then what? You see, machines are better at memory. Machines are better at logic, instruction. So why are we still teaching our children to compete with machines at what machines are already winning? It's like training a bird to swim faster than a fish. It's pointless. Instead, we must train our children to fly. And flying in the AI age means using imagination, creativity, empathy, critical thinking, and moral values. The very things machines cannot replicate. That's the future of education. That's what will make a human being not just relevant, but irreplaceable. Look at the world today. Schools are obsessed with test scores, with standardized exams, with getting the right answer. But in the world of AI, the right answer is easy. It's everywhere. What's hard is asking the right question. What's hard is seeing what others don't see. What's hard is creating something from nothing. That's what schools should be teaching. We need to move away from rote memorization and towards creative problem solving. Away from what to think and towards how to think. Away from feeding facts and towards developing vision. When I was young, I was a terrible student. My math was poor. I failed many exams, but I had imagination. I asked questions. I challenged things. I looked at the world and saw possibilities. And that's what made me an entrepreneur. Not my grades, not my ability to memorize, but my ability to imagine something different. Let me give you a simple example. Think about how we teach history. We ask students to remember dates, battles, names of kings and treaties. But what is the point of remembering the day a war started if we never teach the student how to prevent the next war? That's the difference between memory and wisdom. That's the difference between the past and the future. AI can store everything. It knows every book, every language, every statistic. But it cannot understand human suffering. It cannot imagine a better world. It cannot write a poem from pain. It cannot dream. So if our education continues to reward memory and punish imagination, we are sending our children into a future where machines will always win. I speak at universities all over the world, and I tell young people, don't just aim to get good grades. Aim to become a person that no machine can replace. Learn music, learn painting, learn storytelling, learn teamwork, learn leadership, learn how to feel, how to dream, how to speak with heart. These are not soft skills. In the AI era, they are survival skills. Because when AI takes over the predictable parts of life, what remains is the human part, the messy part, the emotional part, the part that can't be reduced to a line of code. That's the part where humans must shine. Our schools should be places where imagination is not punished, but celebrated, where students are not afraid to fail, but encouraged to experiment, where curiosity is not crushed by rules, but inspired by questions. That's the kind of education that builds innovators, not imitators. Let me ask you something else. In your job today, how much do you really use what you learned in school? Most people will say very little. But the skills that matter, communication, flexibility, emotional intelligence, decision-making under pressure, these were never tested in exams. They were learned through life, through failure, through risk. So why are we not teaching these things intentionally in school? We need to change the curriculum. Yes, we still need math. Yes, we still need science. But we need to teach them in new ways, through real work projects, through creativity, through collaboration, through connection to real-life problems. We should be teaching students how to use AI tools, not to fear them. We should teach prompt engineering the way we used to teach typing. We should teach ethics alongside coding, philosophy alongside programming, empathy alongside analytics. Because the future needs not just smart people, but wise people. Change the system now. We're not just wasting time, we're wasting potential. Let me tell you what happens when education doesn't evolve. In the past, when the Industrial Revolution came, many people were left behind because they didn't learn how to operate machines. Now we're entering the AI revolution, and the people who we left behind are not those without degrees, but those without adaptability. Those who can't think beyond the obvious, those who never learned how to deal with uncertainty, with emotion, with values. AI will not punish you for failing to remember, but it will punish you for failing to imagine. And this is not just about children. Adults must relearn too. If you are working in a job today that feels repetitive, predictable, mechanical, start learning, start growing, because AI is learning faster than you. And if you don't bring your imagination to work, you might not be needed at work. This is the great challenge and the great opportunity of our time. To reimagine what it means to be educated, to shift from knowing more to being more human, being more creative, being more ethical, being more visionary. That is how we will rise, not just with AI, but above it. So I say this to parents, don't just push your child to memorize more. Push them to dream more. Let them play. Let them build. Let them ask strange questions. Let them fail. That's where the future lives. I say this to teachers, don't be afraid to change how you teach. The world is changing fast. Then our job is not to prepare students for our past, but for their future. And I say this to every young person listening. You are not here to repeat what others have done. You are here to imagine what no one else has imagined yet. That is your power. That is your gift. And no AI can ever take that away from you. So let's not build schools that produce walking hard drives. Let's build schools that unleash dreamers, artists, builders, leaders. Because memory built the world we have, but imagination would build the world we want. And that is the education we need now. For AI will divide the world unless we unite. Let me be very honest with you. Technology, by its nature, does not care who you are. It does not care if you are rich or poor, educated or uneducated, from a developed country or a developing one. It just moves forward. It evolves. It spreads. But the problem is, not everyone moves forward with ease. And that's where the danger begins. Artificial intelligence will change everything, but it will not change everything for everyone, unless we choose to make it so. If we're not careful, this revolution will do something that the internet, electricity, and even industrial machines could not do. It will create the deepest divide we've ever seen. We've always known about the digital divide. The idea that some people have access to the internet, and some people have laptops and smartphones, and some are still writing with pens. But the AI divide will be much bigger and much more dangerous because it's not just about access. It's about intelligence, opportunity, and power. Let me explain what I mean. Imagine two people. One lives in a country where AI is embedded into every aspect of life. Hospitals, schools, banks, even farming. This person knows how to use AI to write code, analyze markets, build presentations, understand languages. They use AI as a partner, a silent teammate that works 24/7. Now imagine another person, same age, same talent, same work ethic. But this person lives in a place where there is no exposure to AI tools. Their school doesn't teach it. Their boss doesn't understand it. Their government doesn't support it. This person is working harder, but with weaker tools. Who do you think will succeed? Well, that's nothing to do with intelligence. It has everything to do with access and awareness. And this is why I say we'll divide the world unless we unite. We must not allow a future where only 10% of humanity uses 90% of technology. Because if that happens, we're not just talking about poverty, we're talking about digital slavery. One group will control the code, the other will be controlled by it. That is not progress, that is injustice. I have seen this pattern before. When the internet first came, the same thing happened. Silicon Valley moved forward fast, but much of the world stayed behind. And today, millions of small businesses, brilliant minds, and talented youth are still invisible. Not because they're not capable, but because they're not connected. Now AI is moving even faster, then the gap is getting wider. So what do we do? First, we must democratize AI education. Every school, no matter how small, must teach children how to think about AI. Not just as consumers, but as creators. Not just how to use it, but how to shape it. Every young person deserves to understand the tools that will define their future. Second, we must build bridges, not silos. Tech companies must not just serve the elite. They must think about how to bring tools to small businesses, rural areas, poor communities. AI must not just optimize profits, it must uplift people. We need startups that ask, how can AI solve problems for farmers, for nurses, for teachers in remote areas? Third, governments must step up. They must not just regulate AI to protect the powerful. They must invest in digital infrastructure, in local languages, in access, in affordable devices. Because if AI is only available in English in urban centers to the wealthy, then it is not intelligence. It is inequality. And we must never forget, technology is not neutral. It reflects the values of those who build it. If only a few nations or a few companies control the development of AI, they will shape the world in their image. That's not diversity. That's domination. We need collaboration between nations, between industries, between cultures. We need to share, not hoard what they learn. Because AI is too powerful to be owned by the few. I often tell people the future is not a competition, it is a collaboration. And that's true now more than ever. Imagine what we could do if we united. If African startups had the same AI tools as Silicon Valley. If Asian farmers could predict weather and soil quality using AI. If poor kids in small towns could learn languages and skills with free AI tutors. If people with disabilities could communicate and work better using voice AI. That is the promise. That is the dream. But dreams don't happen automatically. They happen when we choose to build a world that includes everyone. Let me give you an example. When we built Alibaba, our goal was not to create another online store. Our goal was to give small businesses the power of big technology. To give villagers the same access to markets that big cities have. To empower the weak, not just strengthen the strong. That same spirit must guide us in this new AI revolution. Because if we only give AI to the top, it will crush the bottom. But if we lift the bottom with AI, the whole world rises. Some people fear AI because they think it will make them useless. But the real fear should be being left out, not being taught, not being prepared, not being seen. That's why we must fight inequality, not AI. And we must redefine what success looks like. It's not about having the most advanced algorithms. It's about using them to create the most inclusive outcomes. I say this to business leaders: don't build products just for the rich, build for the forgotten. Build for the farmer, the street vendor, the single mother, the refugee, the school without Wi-Fi. That's where your legacy will come from. And I say this to young people: don't wait for someone to give you AI tools. Go find them. Go learn them. Share them with your friends, your family, your village. Be the bridge. Be the light in a place that doesn't know this technology yet. Because if you do that, you are not just learning AI, you are becoming the reason AI lives the world. So remember this: the real division is not between man and machine. It is between those who are included and those who are forgotten. Let us not create a world where the few live with the help of AI while the many live in its shadow. Let's build a world where we rise together, where technology connects us, not divides us, where the future belongs not to some, but to all. That is the future worth building. That is the future we must unite for. 5. Compassion, not code, will save us. Let me ask you a question. When everything becomes intelligent, when your phone is smart, your fridge is smart, your car drives itself, and your assistant is a machine, what is left for us humans to do? It's not coding, it's not calculating. It's not analyzing faster than a machine. The answer is simple: compassion. In the future, what will matter most is not how well you understand the machine, but how well you understand the human. You see, artificial intelligence is incredibly powerful. It learns fast. It never sleeps. It doesn't forget. It never gets emotional, but it also doesn't care. It doesn't cry. It doesn't forgive. Cannot feel shame or empathy. It doesn't know what it means to be truly human. This is why I always say, code builds the system, but compassion holds society together. Without compassion, intelligence is dangerous. Without compassion, progress becomes destruction. We must not make the mistake of thinking that just because machines are getting smarter, humans can afford to become cold. In fact, the smarter the machine becomes, the warmer the human heart must be. That is our balance. That is our responsibility. Look at the world today. We have more data than ever. We have faster communication, real-time translation, intelligent recommendation. And yet, many people feel more alone, more anxious, more disconnected than ever before. Why? Because we are letting machines manage our lives, but we're forgetting how to connect to each other. We are outsourcing emotion to systems that don't have souls. You go to a hospital, machines scan your body, detect your illness, calculate your dosage. But when you sit in fear, wondering if you'll recover, who comforts you? Not the machine, a human does. You apply for a loan, the system checks your credit score, flags your application, and denies it. But maybe that number doesn't know your story. Maybe it doesn't know that you lost your job taking care of your parents, or that you're rebuilding your life after a tragedy. A machine doesn't see that. A person does. This is what I mean when I say compassion will save us. Because AI doesn't understand grief, or forgiveness, or hope, but we do. And if we forget these things in the rush toward faster, smarter, more optimized systems, we won't just lose our jobs, we'll lose ourselves. I'll give you another example. During the pandemic, AI helped us track infections, model outcomes, and allocate resources. But it was human courage, human kindness, and human sacrifice that kept hospitals running, that brought food to the elderly, that took care of children. No machine could ever replace that spirit. That spirit is called compassion, and it is not a feature, it is a foundation. Now let me talk to those of you who are building the future. Engineers, designers, CEOs, politicians, educators. The choices you make today, how you design AI, where you implement it, who it serves, and who it forgets will determine the shape of the next 100 years. If you build AI that only rewards profit, it will strip the world of its soul. If you train machines to win but never to care, they will win at the cost of everything that matters. That's why we need compassion. Not as a side effect, but as a core principle. AI must serve humanity, not replace its values. We should teach our students not just how to build systems, but how to make decisions with conscience. We should teach leaders not just how to automate, but how to listen. We should teach developers not just how to train models, but how to ensure they do not discriminate, do not exploit, do not dehumanize. Because without that moral compass, intelligence becomes arrogance, power becomes abuse, growth becomes destruction. We've seen it before in history. The most dangerous minds were not the stupid ones, they were the brilliant ones, without compassion. How we must ask ourselves, are we building tools or are we building traps? Are we empowering people or are we programming them to disappear? Let me tell you something from experience. When I look back at my journey, not the success, not the numbers, but the human moments. It wasn't the strategy that mattered most. It was the heart behind it. The moment we helped a poor seller reach their first global customer, the tears of a young entrepreneur who turned their life around using our platform, the stories of resilience, kindness, and dignity. That's what made everything worth it. That's what machines will never understand. And that's why you matter. You see, in a world where machines make decisions, your compassion becomes your power. So whether you're a teacher, a nurse, a student, a father, a coder, or a CE, never underestimate the strength of your human heart. Because it will be the last thing that AI cannot copy. People often ask, what skills should I teach my children in the AI age? Yes, teach them coding. Yes, teach them science. But above all, teach them to be kind, to care, to respect, to imagine. To dream not just for themselves, but for others. Because that's where humanity lives. That's where meaning lives. And that's where the future will live. So I'll say it again. Compassion, not code, will save us. Let the machine learn everything, but let us never forget how to feel, because that is how we will survive, and more importantly, that is how we will lead. 6. The future is not about man versus machine, but man with machine. Let me tell you one of the biggest misunderstandings people have about artificial intelligence. Everywhere I go, whether it's a university, a business summit, a startup incubator, I hear the same question. Will machines replace us? They imagine a future where robots take over everything, where humans are no longer needed, where AI becomes so powerful that it turns against us. And I always say you are asking the wrong question. The future is not about man versus machine. It is about man with machine. This is not a war. This is a partnership. And the people who understand this truth early will not only survive the future, they will shape it. Let's go back in time. When electricity was invented, some said it would destroy jobs. When the printing press was created, some said it would ruin the art of storytelling. When computers came, people feared they'd lose all their work to machines. And every time, the people who resisted change were left behind. But the people who embraced the new tools used them to do more, go further and build greater things. Yeah, it's the same. A machine on its powerful, but blind. A human on their own is brilliant, but limited. But the human who knows how to use a machine is unstoppable. Let me give you a simple example. A calculator can do math faster than any of us. But only a human can use those numbers to decide whether to build a school or a shopping mall. AI can write a poem, yes, but only a human can tell you why that poem matters. AI can diagnose a disease, but only a human doctor can sit beside a frightened patient, hold their hand, and explain the journey ahead with care. This is why the real future is collaboration, not competition. It's not about who wins, man or machine. It's about how we win together. Look at what's already happening. Farmers are using AI to monitor soil, rainfall, and crop cycles. Doctors are using AI to detect cancers earlier than ever before. Teachers are using AI to personalize learning for every student. Writers, designers, musicians, they are using AI not to replace creativity, but to amplify it. These people are not fighting machines. They are using machines. And that's the point. You do not need to become a programmer to survive the AI future. You need to become a partner to it. Understand how it works. Learn how to guide it. Become the human pilot of a very powerful tool. I often say this. The machine is the engine, but the human is still the driver. And let me say something even more important. We will never win against machines by trying to become more like them. We win by becoming more human. Machines are logical. We are emotional. Machines are consistent. We are creative. Machines optimize. We imagine. Machines respond. We dream. That is what will always make us unique. The danger is not that AI will become more human. The danger is that humans will forget how to be human, chasing speed, data, and perfection, trying to think and act like machines. Don't lose your empathy. Don't lose your curiosity. Don't lose your intuition, because those are the gifts that I can never replicate. If the future is a race, don't run against the machine. Ride it. Steer it. Use it to reach destinations we never thought possible. But here's something else you must understand. With great power comes great responsibility. AI will make some people incredibly rich. It will make companies unbelievably efficient. But it can also increase the gap between the powerful and the powerless, between those who use it and those who are used by it. So this partnership is not just about power. It's about purpose. What are you building with your AI tools? Are you solving real human problems or just making more profit? Are you helping people live better or just making people consume more? Are you using AI to connect hearts or to manipulate minds? These are questions only a human can ask and only a human can answer. That's why I say in the future, care will matter more than code. Vision will matter more than velocity. And wisdom will matter more than raw intelligence. You must lead the machine, not follow it. You must give it direction, not let's drag it. Because AI is just a tool. Powerful, yes, but without a soul. And only you, only we, bring soul to this future. So don't be afraid. Don't ask, will AI replace me? Ask, how can I become better with AI beside me? Ask, what human value can I add that no machine ever will? Ask, how can I lead this machine into something good for me, for others, for the world? Because in the end, it's not man versus machine. It's man using machine with heart, with courage, and with responsibility. That is the only future worth building. And you are not just part of that future. You are the one who must guide it. The future belongs to the human spirit. So now I want you to stop and breathe, just for a moment. After everything we've said about artificial intelligence, its power, its speed, its potential, and yes, even its danger, I want you to remember something very simple but very powerful. The future does not belong to machines. It belongs to the people who know how to use them. With wisdom, with vision, and with heart. Can compute. AI can learn. AI can adapt. But only you can care. Only you can imagine a better world and fight for it. Not because it makes sense, but because it matches. That is something no algorithm will ever feel. That is something no machine will ever understand. So as we stand at the edge of this great transformation, as AI spreads into every corner of our lives, into every industry, into every classroom and conversation, remember this, the machine can be your partner, but it must never be your master. Use it, learn from it. But never surrender your humanity to it. Build businesses with it, heal the world with it, teach with it, dream with it. But let the compass that guides it come from within you. Because the future is not about being faster or smarter or richer. It's about being more human in a world where everything else is becoming machine. The ones who will lead are not those who control the most data, not those who write the longest code, but those who carry the deepest sense of purpose. In the age of AI, the most powerful person is not the one who knows everything. It is the one who knows what really matters. So I say to you, don't fear the machine. Don't fight the machine. Become the kind of person who can rise with the machine without ever losing your soul. Because the machine may shape the world, but only the human spirit can give it meaning. And that is the future we must build together.